everyone. Then Greenpanel Industries is the first management on the show. The company's domestic MDF volume hurt the overall performance of the company in Q4. To discuss this and more, we are now being joined by V Venkatramani, who is the CFO at Greenpanel Industries. Well, good afternoon to you, sir. First up, I'd like to, get some numbers out of the way. You did miss your earlier guidance of nearly 1,600 crores in revenue, 220 crores in EBITDA in FY25. But what is the outlook when you look at FY26 in terms of volume, revenue, as well as margins?
Okay, I'll split that into two parts when we come to the MDF business. So there's the domestic business and the export business. So in terms of domestic, we did about 367,000 cubic meters last year. And we should be targeting about 480,000 cubic meters, including approximately 70,000 cubic meters from the new plant. And in terms of exports, we did 71,000 cubic meters last year. And we should be targeting about 84,000 cubic meters, including about 12,000 from the new plant. So I would say probably, we would, and in terms of plywood, we should be looking at a 15% volume growth, which should give us revenues of about 150 crores with an 8% operating margin. So I think probably overall we are targeting a top line of around 1,700 crores for FY26.
So FY26, 1,700 crore top line. If you could also give the corresponding EBITDA figure, that'll also be useful. And secondly, what we understand is that as far as the domestic export volumes are concerned, you're consolidated, you're expecting to grow at 28% for the domestic market, 12% for the export market, margins at 12%. Now, as far as the domestic market is concerned, especially in FY25, we understand that the market was quite subdued. So the strong volume guidance that you're giving, what is the rationale behind that? Is it mainly due to the implementation of BIS?
Okay, we primarily lost volumes in Q4 post-implementation of BIS. So we had a product which was commercial grade MDF, which was primarily manufactured for competing with imports. And post-implementation of BIS, we had to stop production of that product. So we did about 41,000 cubic meters from that product in Q4 FY24, and it was nil in Q4 FY25. So that's what hurt us on the volume front.
Okay.
So now with the imports also coming to a standstill, if you look at March and April, they were about 1,100 cubic meters per month compared to an average of about 20,000 cubic meters per month for last year. So the entire demand for the commercial grade MDF is now expected to get converted to industrial grade MDF, which is a BIS compliant product. So we should be recovering market share, in terms of those customers which we lost in Q4. And also with the new plant, we are entering a different product segment in the sense that till date, our plants were engineered primarily for manufacturing thick grade MDF, which is thickness above 5.5 millimeter. But with the new plant, we would be manufacturing MDF in the range of 1.5 millimeter to 5.5 millimeter, where the earlier most of the supplies came from imports. So I think that will help us to scale up volumes at the new plant quickly. And overall, that should help us to, scale up the volumes in the current year.
Sure. And, with the BIS implementation that you just alluded to, what would your capacity utilization look like? Because for the MDF, it is at 60%. For plywood, it is at 42%. So how will this move and how quickly would you be able to ramp up your new facility?
So for the older plants, we would be targeting a capacity utilization of 70%. And for the new plant, around 35% in FY26.
Okay, now let's talk about the new plant. What is the current capacity utilization as far as the new AP plant is concerned? What is the realization trend over there? Is it higher compared to what you're currently selling at? And at peak capacity utilization, what is the kind of top line addition it can contribute?
Okay, like I mentioned, we started commercial production towards the end of March, and that plant is still in the stabilization phase. So probably, the plant will be fully operational towards the second half of June onwards. And that would help us to scale up the volumes. Not much, I think probably we are doing in about 3,000 cubic meters per month currently. And overall, our target is about 7,000 cubic meters per month for this year.
And are realizations higher from that particular facility?
Yeah, if you compare it apple to apple, realizations are higher, primarily because, with the lower thicknesses, the product has to be of a higher density, which also leads to higher consumption of wood. So realizations are slightly higher as compared to the thick MDF, but since costs are also higher, so margins are expected to be in a similar range.
Understood.
Sure, and just two questions clubbed into one actually. What would be your outlook on your working capital days? We understand that the net working capital right now is somewhere around 36 days. And the second question would be that are you looking to further take some debt, because your net debt has increased on account of the capacity expansion plans that you just undertook? So two questions, sir. Working capital as well as the net debt.
So as far as the new line is concerned, we would be adding a very small amount, which is part of the debt also already considered. So I think probably adding another 15 to 20 crores this year. And that would be the end of it. As far as the working capital is concerned, we won't be requiring any additional debt. We'll do those from the balances available with us. And we would be targeting working capital days of around 30 for FY26.
Thank you so much, Mr. Venkatramani, for joining us, giving us a sense of how Q4 panned out, the way ahead as far as FY26 is concerned.
Thank you.
Well, moving on, it's now time for a short break. The management of MTAR Technologies joins us next to discuss their Q4 numbers as well as the way forward.